Sabrina, it's great to have you on the podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm good, Adam. Thank you for having me here. It's really lovely to be here with you today.
No, you're very welcome. But yeah, I just thought I'd start off by kind of asking you kind of how you kind of got into coaching and personal development and this kind of side of things. Like how did you come about getting into what you do?
Yeah. Well, I think like coaching is very personal, isn't it? I know that as a coach, you must have feel the same as well. Something must have triggered you into starting this journey. I was a former massage therapist before, so I was very much into people's well-being, making sure that their health is in good hands, and coaching like kind of started from there when I talked to people. And they were sharing a lot of things about their life and the challenges. I realized that I was really interested in creating a shift or co-creating something with people. And I really do feel like, when you're a child, you have your parents with you, they are guiding you, they're supporting you, they're helping you. And after that, you haven't got that support anymore. So life can feel very lonely if you haven't got the right support. Sure, we can have like friends around that are supporting us, but sometimes you need somebody to get you accountable for your life, somebody that can show you another way. And very often when we are with a group of people, we have some kind of common belief that things, our dreams might not be possible to achieve, or we're playing small. And what you want is having somebody that gets you accountable for playing bigger, for seeing things about yourself that you've forgotten about, that you cannot see yourself. So my focus is on women. I work with busy, high achieving women who have perhaps children, who are career driven, and who have forgotten a little bit, who they are, what their desires are, and they forget to reconnect with themselves, how to reconnect with themselves. They are so busy and their mind is so full of stress and tasks to do. Be the best mom, be the best boss, the best wife, the best daughter. We so much like women are high achievers nowadays, especially because they're children and they also have a career that they are passionate about, or a career that takes a lot of time in their life. So their mental being is not what they wish for themselves. And what I do is helping them, bringing more calm, bringing more balance, bringing lightness in their life. So they can reconnect with themselves as well, and they can live a life that is full of passion and laughter and lightness, and they know they are grounded, they are balanced. And yeah, that's what my focus is. But to answer your question, sorry, I went a bit
No, it's fine. No.
But so from massage, this is what I did. But what I realized that I didn't realize in the past, when I was 22, something really tragic happened in my life, where I lost my dad to suicide. And I found him, like I discovered him, and that was obviously very, very shocking. And this is also when I understood about mental health. And mental health was not something that I knew about before. Like I didn't put a word to it. I didn't put the word mental health to it. And only when I lost him, I realized that mental health is a real thing. And it happens gradually, where we are falling down the rabbit hole, and where we are losing ourselves. We are so stressed or feel anxious that we don't find like a way out. And that really stayed with me. And this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this work, because I really believe that people, women, men, really need like support, really need guidance in their life, so they can fully live their life. There is a solution out there for them to feel, to experience life, and not just living. And a lot of us are just living life. They are going to work, being a mom, being a dad, going from task after task after task, and they're feeling on a treadmill. And when you are in that situation, for a very long time, at the end you just become a bit dead. You become into a life that you're not enjoying. And we need to realize that life is very precious, and we only have, it's only when we're stepping back that we have time to realize how precious this one life is, that we do something about it, that we create actions that are, making us happy and creating a life and a dream that we want to have, and not having, for example, you're coming to the end of your life, or you're looking back and going, oh shit, like what's happened? What have I done? I haven't done whatever I wanted to do. Or, somebody gets sick and you get a calling, and then you're like, oh, okay, something needs to be done right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm sorry you experienced that, but I think, like you said, as well, there's mental health is definitely a big thing. And I think it's really good that you can kind of help people with their mental health through coaching. And you like realizing yourself about probably your own mental health as well, and how important it is. And I think sometimes things happen, don't they? And it's almost like a catalyst, and you kind of springboard into like, say, coaching, or whatever for the situation. And I think mental health is definitely important. And I think, especially in today's society, and with what's happening in the world, there's a lot of stress. And I think like, especially like you say, with a lot of women, very career driven, they've got kids, got a family.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of women who are doing very well, and that they've got a lot of kind of spinning plates almost. There's all these different things they're doing. And I think like, if you're not careful, you're always on that treadmill, you can kind of burn out.
Exactly.
That's not it's not good. It's not good for you, and it's not good for your family if you get ill.
Because the impact of that, the impact of not looking after your mental health, the impact of not putting your well-being in one of your top priorities down the line, it has a ripple effect on everything. Like, your relationship with your partner gets affected, right? You could get you could argue more, being really short with each other. You're losing connection with each other, down the line, a divorce. That's how far that can go when you're not happy, when you're not at one with yourself, and with your desires. You could have really like big problems in terms of your sleep, and not feeling that you can really let go, when you're going to bed, and taking pills for depression. Or, it's like the impact that mental health has, and our well-being is amazing. I mean, it's crazy, because it has an impact on everything, with your children, the way you communicate with your children, the way you are connecting with your friends, and all of that gets affected. Like, if you are career driven as well, like, it will, like, your work will get affected, your performance, you won't feel your best, you won't be your best if your well-being is not, your mental health is not on point, checking. And I think, like you said, like with coaching, it really helps as well, like to keep you in check.
Yeah.
Because you can't advise people or support or guide people to do certain things or to think in a different way if you personally are not embodying what you are preaching. So it really gets you to think about, how do I live my life? Am I embodying the person I want to be? Am I embodying the actions, the traits that this person, that the person that I want to be have? And you can't put, like, you can't help, like, with your clients as well, it's like, you can't like have a session with your client and saying, oh, have you looked at that? Have you thought about that? Like, are you doing this or that? If you are not doing it yourself, then if you're not doing it yourself, that means that you're not really believing it yourself, and you can't get somebody to believe in that either if you're not doing it yourself. So it's really important. Coaching is a beautiful work for the people who receive coaching, but also for yourself, because you constantly have to put yourself in check and constantly have to remind yourself to embody those traits, embody what you're preaching.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think there's definitely those two sides to it, isn't there? Like, you're helping the people, the clients, and then also you have to kind of do that work as well, because it's
Yeah,
like, if you're talking about people, benefits of exercise, running and things like this,
exactly.
are you doing that yourself? And
Yeah,
it is definitely like, like the magnifying glasses, kind of on us as well, because and I think, you need to like be more, it's being genuine, isn't it? Being yourself and being genuine, and
yeah,
it wouldn't feel the same if you're kind of saying, "Oh, should you do this?" but you're not doing it yourself. It's, it wouldn't feel the same. And I mean, that's definitely, definitely a side to it. And it is very self-reflective, I find. And you're helping people and you're coaching people, and you see them improve, and it,
yeah.
it can encourage you to probably, work on things like, you know what I mean, as a person, need to work on. It's very
I think
cathartic.
as a coach, I think you are like a walking advert in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to show, like, if you're going to see a fitness coach, like, and they're not running or they're not exercising, then you probably would think twice before hiring them, right? Or if
Mm,
you want to lose weight and you want to hire a coach that has gone through that as well, gone through challenges, that is looking after themselves. But if a
mm,
coach is just saying stuff, like, everybody can do it, everybody can
yeah.
say and repeat what you need to do. That's why it's so difficult sometimes. You get a lot of advices from
Mm,
friends, but they're not doing it themselves. So how can you actually believe it's working, or
mm,
be inspired? And it's about being inspired as well. If you have a coach that is embodying and doing all the things, then you are inspired by that person, you want to be that person. And I feel
mm,
like this is our duty, isn't it, as a coach as well, to embody that and
mm,
constantly, like, progressing and pushing our challenge, like pushing our limits as well.
mm,
It's very important to discover more about who we are, because it is about coaching, it's about discovering who we are really,
mm.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Discovering um, all those little bits about ourselves that we have pushed down to conform into something, in society, or conform into a family, or conform into a job or a business. There's so many parts that we are shutting down in ourselves, and coaching really brings those parts up as well, the things that we have shut down. And this is how we discover things about ourselves as well. So it's very interesting work.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think, like, it's pretty powerful how, when I did my training course, you see session, we observe sessions, and you see, the client come into the space and the person coaching them, and you see, their body language and how, what was going on with them at the start, and then, over a short space of time, should be, sometimes like 8 to 10 minutes, and you see, afterwards, the person have more clarity and their body language change, and shift their emotional state from when they went in the session to when they kind of came out. And I think it's a very powerful way, because you're providing a space for somebody to kind of go into things
Yeah.
and kind of untangle that. That makes sense, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're creating that space, so you have to create. It's very much like coaching is very much energetic, isn't it? You have to connect with the person's energy, and not every client would be for me, and I
Mm,
wouldn't be for every client. And when I go through a like consultation, before we are
mm,
engaging each other, like engaging in a contract and working
yeah.
together, there is this like consultation that you do before, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes, you don't feel like they are right for you, or you are right for them. And
Mm,
understanding that and telling them this is probably not the right time for you, or this is probably not the right person for you. If it's very much energetic, and matching that with somebody, isn't it? So
mm,
understanding if we are a good match.
yeah.
Um, And when you do that, you create a space for them to to like to get their feelings out, to get their secrets out, and to confine in you in their story, and to their past as well, like what triggered certain thing in them, like what made, like the past, it doesn't define who you are right now, but the past has obviously an effect on how they behave, how they act, a certain, like, limiting belief that are holding them back from, moving forwards, from jumping into things, and from creating the life they desire. So it's really important to be there to create that space so they feel at ease and they feel like they can trust you. So it's about that. So if the energy is not right at the beginning when you're doing the consultation, then it can be very difficult to create space outside of that. So it's really important that first consultation is very important to really be honest and truthful, not being after the money, not because you need the money or they need the help. It's about, is that the right match? And if yes, then creating the space for them to, to allow them to confine and share. And a lot of people feel very vulnerable when they're sharing, that information about themselves. It's very private. So I'm really honored when somebody opens themselves. Yeah, it's a very special time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. And I think, like, people, they, like you said, not every client or coach is going to be suited for that person, are they? And I think that's okay. And I think that's just, it's just, like I said, it's very personal, and there's a lot of energy that, is kind of exchange in that space. And I think, if that person doesn't fit for that coach, there'll be another coach that, will suit them. And I think that's perfectly fine. But I think it's definitely, beneficial. And I think coaching is it's kind of getting more traction, in the media now, isn't it? I think a lot more businesses are using it as well, because they're seeing that, their employees' mental health needs to be good if they're in a good place, to work effectively. And I think a lot of people should, kind of go into it or look at it, because I think it's a very beneficial way to kind of unlock, it can unlock people's potential, can't it? There's so many avenues within coaching as well.
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely like a powerful work. I mean, when I work with clients, I take 3 months. It takes a commitment of 3 months to work with me, and for those 12 weeks, we are diving so deep. Like in places that I'd never thought existed. Their belief and their rules and their needs, their psychological human needs, their boundaries, their self-love, self-worth, confidence. It's so much to look at. And sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming, isn't it, when things, it's like you have this suitcase that you haven't opened for a while, and you open it and you've got, you don't want to look at it, and it's the stuff that you didn't want to deal with for a long time, but it clutters your mind, and little by little you become that person that is not really you, because you've been carrying that heavy baggage with you all the time, and you didn't want to look at it, right? So when you do coaching, it's really amazing, because you open that suitcase and you're like, okay, what's that? Oh, a bit of trauma there, and a bit of like, lack of confidence. I don't like myself in that space. So I don't, it's just so many things to discover, right? And to actually look at and deal with it, like look at them with love and grace, and diving deep within ourselves. And this is how we can free ourselves, by understanding who we are, what we want, and standing up for ourselves, having love for ourselves as well, changes everything, like the way we look out to business, our relationship, our connection with our friend. Like having love changes everything, like having love for ourselves. And so this is one element, like, that I always bring into my coaching, is self-love. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think self-love and having that like love, for yourself and for what you have, your friends and your family, and yeah, I think it's definitely key, and I think it's definitely powerful, and I think it's that you kind of yin and yang, isn't it? It's that kind of like balance, and like I say sometimes, the kind of relationship that you have with yourself is kind of how you have a relationship with other people and other things.
Yeah,
And it's kind of
absolutely.
like that kind of mirroring, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. If you don't have respect for yourself, like how can you expect people to have respect for you in a way as well?
Mm,
If you don't have any boundaries and you're bending your rules like constantly, like people know it, that without knowing it, like energetically, without the words, like you just know that
mm,
they're this way or they're this way. And I feel like if like you said, it's really important. It's like a mirror, so it's very important to embody that as well, like having that
mm,
love or cultivating
mm,
self-love. And it's not easy. I'm saying that, and some people that will be watching perhaps will be like, but how do you cultivate like self-love?
mm, mm.
What do you need to do, like, and it's a lot of work, but it is worth it because you want to make the most of life. And if you don't know yourself, if you're hiding parts of yourself, if you're not understanding, your
Avoiding.
traits and your life and the way you do things, the way you see the world, and it's very difficult to have a fulfilling life.
Mm. Yeah, no, no, definitely. And I think like I think like gratitude is important as well, isn't it? And I think that can kind of probably start, looking at what you have and being grateful for, your life and who you are. And I think, like I said, it can be difficult, sometimes, for some people to get into that place. But I think it's definitely doable. And I
Yeah,
think it just with practice, isn't it? Just looking at, being grateful for who you are and loving your life and what you have, and like I said, to
yeah.
be alive and to be here.
I know it's very easy to look at what's over there.
Mm,
What does she have? What does she has? What does he has? Oh, I
mm,
want this and I want that, and feeling like that something is lacking in your life. And there's no problem with wanting more for yourself. I do. There's always like, kind of milestone that I've got in my life in terms of
mm,
money, clients,
mm,
um, house, or there's always more that I want,
mm.
and I always love to kind of push my limits. So I always push them, and once I've reached the limit, I just push it and push it to see
Yeah,
how far can I go, and this is how I learn about myself, right?
yeah,
But with gratitude, like it's really important, like I said, to cultivate gratitude, cultivate self-love, because it's very easy otherwise to want something over there, and it's always over there. But if you're not appreciative with what you already got, then you won't have the things that are over there. So it's really important to have like a strong foundation, a strong base where you appreciate what you have. You can't have more money. For example, if your goal is to be a millionaire, and there's no
mm,
problem with that, um, it depends how you use the money, right? Using in a good
mm,
way or in a bad way. But if you want to be that, like how do you look after your money right now? How do
yeah,
you cultivate that right now? If you're not careful with your money, if you are spending it mindlessly, if you're not treasuring it and looking after it, then the chances that you will never be able to be rich, right? I mean, so many
mm,
people win the lottery and they're poor very quickly because they
mm,
haven't had the strategies and the tools or the energy, the mental
mm,
focus or the gratitude with what they already have. So you could give like
mm,
a poor person like £1 million and they would lose it like very quickly. And so it's about how to treasure, how to nurture the money that we have, the abundance that we already have to create more abundance.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely, and I think that's definitely important, isn't it? And I think I did see a study on that, and it said percentage of people who win the lottery, a certain percentage, end up spending it all
Yeah.
because, like you said, their kind of like self-belief and their like narrative in their mind, is like it's not aligned with that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you said, that image in their head. So
Of
then
course.
they spend it because they might feel like they're not worthy of money. They might feel like
Yeah.
the
You've
and
touched-
it's so interesting, isn't it? Like when you break it down, you look at people, people's narratives, and you know the, their beliefs and how that can affect their finances and
Yeah.
their health. And
Of course, yeah. It's about the self-worth, isn't it? Like you said, it's if your self-belief is if your belief is about self, if you don't have any self-worth, if you feel like you're not worthy of having money, of having certain possession, you're not worthy
mm,
of that, that you're not enough, then
mm,
the chances are once you have the money, you still will feel the same way, isn't it? So
mm,
this is what coaching is very magical, I feel, because when you are working with our belief system, and this is like the first point I'm working with my clients in my coaching program, is the belief system and understanding the driving force behind our actions, really understanding our needs, what are the driving force behind certain actions that we are taking as well or not taking, and very often it is, yeah, self-worth, the confidence, self-love, not feeling worthy of it, and that has an impact on everything.
mm. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it does kind of like all interlinked, doesn't it? Like people's mental health, their physical health, their beliefs. And I think a lot of the time people sometimes avoid it, think it's going to go away, they don't look at it, or they do certain things to kind of shield whatever's going on. I think coaching is definitely a good way to kind of head on, kind of approach those things. Because I remember when I did the course that I did, things came up for me, and I didn't even realize they were there until we did. I was the client and the person was doing the session for me, and you just start tapping into things, and it's a bit like a pinball. You're like, oh, that's there.
I
Oh,
know.
that's there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. Actually, I like that image. It's just like looking at one thing, and then that leads you to another thing, and that leads you to another thing. Yeah, it's very interesting. I did my training, my coaching training with the coaching school of Tony Robbins, and
Nice.
yeah, it was quite an amazing yeah, experience. And I had like a lot of knowledge I've acquired myself, like
Yeah. Yeah.
through books and reading and podcasts, and just my general like interest in psychology or quantum physics, and all of that kind of gets together, right? But when I did my training at the coaching school of Tony Robbins, it was quite amazing to see all those little details and understanding that, like you said, you're focusing on something and you're looking at the source of the problem, and then you realize something else is tangled with that issue, and sometimes people don't remember some of the memories. They remember one thing, and it's only after talking for half an hour or an hour or the next session or the next session, they're like, oh, I remembered that thing my
Mm.
dad said, that don't blow your own trumpet, that kind of
Mm.
stuff. It comes up,
Mm.
you're like, oh, this is why I am scared of shouting, like how amazing
Yeah.
what I've done is so amazing, or whatever. It's like, it's just so incredible that it's like a
Yeah.
rabbit hole, where you're going into it, and then you have
Mm.
another thing, and it's just like
Yeah.
amazing. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it definitely is. And I think it's really effective way of understanding who you are, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's really 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 powerful.
Mm.
Um, no, it's pretty, and you can kind of see how you shifted and grown in that time, can't you? When when you look back, because I remember when we did it, we did modules, and they show you certain diagrams and things like this, and I was like, well, if I'd have seen that 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done certain things that I did, and
Yeah.
it's really effective.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's it's powerful. And I think there's so many different avenues of coaching. I think a lot of people sometimes see it as, like counseling and this kind of thing. And I think it's not really like counseling, is it? It touches base on the past, but it's more kind of goal orientated, I find.
Yeah, it's moving forward. So obviously the past has got an importance, and you will discuss some of the past, aren't you? But it's very much okay, this is a situation and we want to go there. We want to embody that person. We want, what life do you want to have? And how are we going to create new habits? How are we going to declutter, your mind from old stories, from old belief, from unhelpful, belief, and how can we move forward? Without counseling, it's got its place for a lot of people. I did counseling myself before, for myself, and I found it very useful to be able to share my story and get my feelings out. But I didn't feel like I had like solid tools and strategies to move forward, and to embody that person. How do you embody that person? How do you embody that life that you want? Like for many women that I coach, they want to be that woman. They want to be that woman that has a career, that has children, a husband, and that has calm and the relaxation and all of that, but how can you embody that life? How can you embody that person, without taking actions or having clear strategies? And I think this is where coaching comes, where you feel supported, you feel guided, you feel like you're not alone, and you have clear, solid strategies that take you forward. And when you are forward, you are forward into your life, into that new you, which is the real you. Then how can you stay there also? What is your new blueprint? And I think without strategies and without understanding what are the driving force behind our action, it's very difficult to move forward. We're doing it on our own, and it's not so easy to do it on our own. Yeah,
no, definitely. And I think it does definitely support, that person, that place, doesn't it? And I think it's a really, effective way of, kind of building that kind of bridge from where the person is and to where they want to go, doesn't it? And it's that space holding them there. And I think a lot of people should kind of go into it, because I think it's definitely an effective way, to achieve goals and get to where you want to be. It's very person centered, and I think there's a lot of empathy there as well. When people go into coaching, for the client.
Yeah. It's a shortcut, isn't it? You could spend 5 years of your life trying to do it on your own, and trying different things that don't work, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that myself as well. But at the time, if I knew about coaching, I probably would have used a coach and go, okay, and let's co-create something together, right? Because you have somebody that wants your best intention. And sometimes, I don't know about you, Adam, but you might have friends that want your best intention, but they won't tell you the truth, like the truth sometimes, because they don't want to create a friction. They don't want to lose the connection. They have their own baggage and they have their own story, and they really treasure that connection they have with their friend. And very often they wouldn't want to jeopardize their relationship with their friends. I mean, it's very rare to have a friend I've got a friend that would tell me, right? But a lot of the people that I know would never tell me, I think this is bullshit. I think this is, you haven't done that, or you haven't looked at that, or I think you're making excuses for yourself, Like, sometimes, you have friends that would tell you that, but very often they wouldn't want to create like a friction or jeopardize their relationship with you. So you want somebody that is completely removed from being your friend. Like, I'm like a coach before a friend. Obviously, like, I'm creating relationship with clients, and I've become, we become not friends, but we are close. But I'm a coach. This is what I am for them, so I don't care about if they don't like me. That's not my goal, that they like me. It's for me to see results in them. It's for me to serve them so they get the result they want, and not staying in the same place, and me comforting them into this is okay to be there, and mothering them in a way, right? For me to lovingly and with grace bring them forward and making them realize how powerful and how limitless they are, making them realize that they can do that. So helping them, guiding them for them to believe in themselves as well, and believe that the next step is possible for them.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it, isn't it? And I agree with you, and I think it's you're not that person's friend, and it's like you have to kind of be very separate from that and kind of make that clear. And
they're
you
paying
kind
me
of like,
rules, right?
yes,
It's like they're paying me to be a friend,
yeah,
so yeah, like you said, like they're paying us like good money as well. It's like
yeah,
my goal is to serve them. My goal is to make sure they have the life they want. Like we could create something that is truly transformational. And this is what I want for them above everything else, above being their friends. You know what I mean? Obviously, like the side effect is a side effect. I mean, it's yeah, you develop a relationship, and it's fun, and we make jokes and stuff. There's a lot of humor in my work because I think it's really important, humor. But above everything, it's just like I'm their coach and I'm here to serve them and create that transformation.
Yeah, no, definitely. You got to have that kind of professionalism avenue as well. Is that
Yeah.
being a professional coach and having that balance and that, like I said, that kind of, what's the word? Those kind of boundaries.
Yeah,
Boundaries. Yeah,
yeah.
That's important.
Very
And then
important.
I think in the future, maybe over time, I think you can probably connect or things like that. But I think you have to have that space and the boundaries, and that's heavily important as well.
Yeah, of course, totally.
Yeah, they can't, and like they can't be calling you up at 10 o'clock at night, or do you want to go for a
I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly. I know. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's been really great talking to you, and I'll ask you a question before we finish. Is like who would you say like your role models are, like mentors or anything like that?
I really love Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
I really feel like, I mean, he's very inspiring, and I really love his approach on everything in life. The no bullshit, and I just love the way he carries himself, and his confidence, and his passion for people as well, to transform people's life. And yeah, I would love to see him live one day, in a UPW. I was meant to go in May this year, and obviously with the lockdown and stuff, that was impossible. But hopefully next year. But yeah, it is definitely somebody I look up to. There are many people that I look up to. I mean, I love Oprah. I love Marie Forleo. I love also like spiritual teachers or guru, or I don't know how you call them, but I love Eckhart Tolle as well, and I think it's very inspiring because it really teaches us of stepping back into our life, and understanding that everything is connected, everything is non-dual. And when you realize that, you feel even more empowered to create change in life. So I think everything is so related with coaching. I think spirituality is very connected. I feel like this is also part of my work as well, like talking about the universe and who we are, what we are doing in this massive universe, like realizing our life, anyway. Yeah, I could go on for this, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think it is definitely important to have role models and mentors and people we kind of aspire to be like, and to kind of draw from what they're doing. And I
Yeah.
think it does kind of blow your mind when you think about how the universe works and energy and people, situations. There's a lot to it, and I think trying to find an understanding of that can be quite amazing when you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I know, totally. We forget sometimes like where we are, we're just
Mm,
living and we forget about our reality,
yeah.
and I think it's very important to feed our soul and our spirit
Mm,
with good,
mm,
nourishing information and not
mm,
toxic information. Like social media can be very toxic. Watching the news
mm,
can be very toxic for ourselves, but like
mm,
nourishing our soul, our spirit with
mm,
good podcasts, good books, good documentaries, inspiring movies, um,
mm,
people talking, doing a talk, TED talk, for example. I love watching that. I love like feeding my soul with that. Like,
mm,
I think it's so important. It keeps
yeah.
me like on a high vibe. It keeps me
Yeah.
up there. And if I'm starting to, scroll mindlessly on social media, watching the news and reading crap on the newspaper or whatever, then I can feel that my energy kind of slows down. And I want to
Mm,
keep my energy up, especially for me and my clients as well. So it's, really important to, nourish your soul like that.
yeah. No, definitely. It's definitely important, and it's having that balance, isn't it, as well?
Mm,
Um, but, but where can people find you on like social media or like your website,
yeah.
LinkedIn, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I've got like an amazing group on Facebook. It's just for women. I used to have a group with men and women, but I've kind of focused on women now. And
Yeah,
the
of
group
course.
and the group is called "And She Found Herself." It's private and it's free. And I also have a website, mykickasslife.com and .com or .uk. Sorry, I completely
That's
forgot.
all right.
I don't usually go on my actual website,
No,
but
it's
let
fine.
me .co.uk. So mykickasslife.co.uk. And that's it, I think. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
doing, by
awesome.
the way, I don't know if that's any of interest to anybody who's watching, but I'm running a 5-week journée starting tomorrow. It's five weeks, one Zoom call per week, a private group to help women and the overwhelming feeling, to bring more balance, more calm, more peace, and creating new habits, creating a new blueprint. So that's what I'm doing on Friday. If anybody's interested, then they can just contact me and I will give more details.
No, awesome. And I'll definitely share your content for you, and, I'll put all the links in the bio for you as well.
Thank you.
No,
It
you're welcome. It's great talking to you,
was
Sabrina.
very lovely to talk to you, Adam. Thank you
No,
very
you
much.
too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my
No,
chat with you. It was good.
no, you're welcome. But I wish you all the best in what you're
Yeah.
doing, and have a great day.
You too. Take care. Have a nice day.
Too. You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.